Hey, what's going on, guys? It is Fox98 here. Welcome back to a brand new episode of the F1 Project for you guys today here on the channel. Today we're here for episode number 7. If you guys haven't seen the last episode, be sure to go check that one out before we go ahead and check out this episode. Today we're going to be doing the Singapore Grand Prix and potentially the Japanese Grand Prix. It depends on how much action happens in this race, because if there's not a lot, then I'll do 2 races in one. But hopefully you guys enjoyed today's episode, and let's get straight into it then. So, before we get on to things, I wasn't actually recording at the time, and I don't seem to have had an email about it, but it should show me on here that we have an R&D reset for next season, which is going to be the aerodynamics and also the chassis, which is wonderful, because it's not as if, I was trying to help with things anyway. I can't even save the lightweight wheel rims, which is annoying, but hopefully you guys enjoy today's episode, but we have to now pretty much find a bunch of resource points. We should have enough to do them all anyway. I mean, we can save the front. We'll save this piece first. Then we'll have to get 500 points for this one. So that's 500, 1,500 there. That's another 1,500 there. Probably 1,000. That's about 4,000 R&D points. It should be possible because we're not going to just upgrade the car anymore throughout the rest of the season. So I'm not too bothered about R&D reset. If it was one department, we would have been absolutely fine. The fact that it's 2 is going to be a little bit nip and tuck. Although we get around about 1,500 R&D points per session anyway. Plus then the weekly resources that come in, we should see ourselves in a good spot developing the car. I don't think we're going to win the championship with Renault this season. So we're going to have to wait till next season probably to do that. Which is fine, I guess. But yeah, we're going to get straight into it. So you can see the R&D points here. Obviously we don't get as many as well because I simulate the practice because I really can't be bothered with practice. I just want to get straight into the one-shot quality in the race that I do, so that's pretty much where we stand. So we're going to get straight into qualifying now, see how that goes for us, and then of course we've got the race here at Singapore. My back end slid on the exit of the little chicane then, otherwise that was a perfect lap for 3rd place once again in qualifying, just like we did last time in the Italian Grand Prix, so that's a bonus, but how far? Oh, we were 2 tenths off. I lost a good chunk of time in the exit of the last corner, and I just couldn't get the throttle down. Bollocks, man! I think I could have got pole if it was for that. I feel so happy around this circuit. I love Singapore. If you don't like Singapore, I don't like you. Fact.
We have Skip, Leclerc, Sebastian.
I just wanted to hear Crofty say Skip. That's all I did that for. Right, now that we're going to go and have a look at the fuel loads here, which we're going to drop right down because we're not really going to need it. So the plan of action is simple. Soft to medium compound tyres. Get a good start. Get in front of the Mercs. Hard to overtake around here. We should go for the dub. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing. So, let's get straight into it and see if we can pick up that juicy dub. So let's try and do this now. Here we go. For some reason I'm not starting with max CRS. That's a good start. There you go. I'm thinking actually that because my control electronics is worn, I wonder if I'm lacking. I wonder if I won't get max deployment on the ERS. My energy store is overworn, so I thought so. Well, I've got the lead anyway, like I said I would. We just need to introduce our tactics and we should be fine. Which I don't have any yet. Little sit rep here on lap 4 of the Grand Prix. We're still leading. We haven't lost the lead. Mercedes is still right up my backside, as you can see them right there. But apart from that, all is fine really. They are getting close, but they're not close enough to attack in any of the DRS zones that come around. So I'm just holding my gap. Just driving my own race. Until they actually start getting alongside me is when I need to start really, focusing.
The more charge you hold, the faster that capacity will drop.
Right, yeah, so Jeff's warned me about my energy store. In fact, he's warned me about all my engine components. They're all worn. I put worn components in specifically for this race. And now he's very much panicking that they're wearing out fast. But really, I'm just fast in the elements of the circuit where I need to be. So that's all I care about, really. Out of the exit in the last corner, we're fine.
boxing this lap.
That's my components there, so they are wearing fast. The energy store is a worry, though, because I feel that that's getting to a point where we might have ERS failure. Don't know yet. Oh, Lewis has just gone for it. That was weird. Wasn't expecting him to. I kind of want to have a look at that back. I just took a much wider line into the corner. And Lewis came at me then. That was a bit unexpected. A bit out of shape through here. He's gone from a hell of a long way back to try and go for that. Someone's getting a little bit desperate to overtake me. We're going to box this lap anyway, though. I haven't fared well on these tyres, it must be said. It definitely faded. I think Hamilton picked up front wing damage from that. I'm going to go wide. I always do on this game. I think Hamilton picked up front wing damage then because he was slow in that last sector. Let me see if they change his front wing. Will they? Not by the looks of it. I've got to get out in front of that racing point, I've just realised. Come on. Yes, good boys. Nicely done. Right, Lewis is on the mediums with me. Bottas could be the biggest threat then, because Lewis was slow in that last sector. I gained a second. Huh, fascinating. Nonetheless though, we're back out again. We've got a fresh laps undercut on Bottas, which could be key. You normally see that undercuts around Singapore are huge. And now we've got a gap on Hamilton, so let's see how this lap pans out. There's Valtteri Bottas, and we're comfortably in front of him, so the undercut worked. We did set a purple middle and final sector as well to sort of solidify that. Lewis has kept the gap at 1.6 to me and him. All gains of Leclerc's actually jumped to Bottas, I've just noticed. How interesting. The gap's staying at around this 1.6 range between me and him, so whatever caused him to lose speed at the start of the, just as we were about to pit, it's gone. Because he's fine now. New fastest lap, 1:37.0. Lewis not quicker than me on that one. 2.2 is now the gap, so he gains about half a second on him then. Nicely done. Just got to keep pushing now. Right, gap to myself and Lewis is up to 3.5 seconds now. We are pulling away from him, but I'm still very nervous about him. At the end of the first stint, I was reeled in by all of them. I think I suffered from worse tyre wear than what they did. Followed by, my engine is worn, so power's down. Also my ERS, or the energy store, is down, which means that I'm losing max capacity from the battery, and it's not really holding it very nicely as well. I'm only on 40% and I'm hardly using it. So, it's not the best of signs right now, but especially when I'm not talking, I'm in the groove around here, so I knew this was a track I'd do well at. I don't think I've ever been so focused in a race in my life. I'm just so focused on every corner, every apex, every braking zone. I absolutely love the Singapore Grand Prix circuit in real life and also to drive. And yes, I'm biased when I say I love it in real life because I've physically been to Singapore and I've been to watch a Grand Prix here and I've walked on the circuit and I've had the blessing of doing all of that. But I don't care. Just track to drive is just so fun. It's probably my favourite circuit to drive on the entire game. Gap's up to 4 seconds as well. We're really pulling on the wings here. Not under any sort of pressure. I'm just loving it right now. Jesus Christ, I came so close to the wall then on the last lap. Holy crap. We are on the last lap though. I am taking it much easier. Well, I say I'm taking it easier and I've nearly just gone and smashed it into the wall, exploring all the limits that I've got available to me, but I've backed off in terms of just power deployment. The rest of the AIs behind clearly aren't, because the gap's come down by a second on this lap as they try and go for a fastest lap or whatever they're trying to do. But it doesn't matter. It's been an absolute joy to drive around Singapore, always is. And that's the last corner is done, really. There we go. Round the last corner. And across the line to win the Singapore Grand Prix, make it back-to-back race victories in the F1 project. And that's our third win of the season, which probably put us top of the championship, actually. But of course, like I said, we've still got my biggest bogey track of all, Japan, to do. And then, like I said, Brazil is hit and miss. Brazil, you can do well. But Brazil, you can also flounder. So, my title hopes rest on my performance in Japan, basically, is the way to judge that. But Vettel managed to finish in front of Bottas. So, that one-lap undercut that he did... The undercut is so powerful on Singapore. You pretty much always have to do it. Otherwise, you're stuffed because of the length of the circuit. I've just realised that it doesn't show the Barbadian flag on the top when I'm in the little telephone. That's gay. But yeah, I mean, it was just a joy to drive this track in general. As per usual, we're going to get Crofty to shut up, and then we're going to go back into it again. So we managed to win the Grand Prix. We set a 37.0, and that's beaten Hamilton's 37.7, 7/10 faster than them. And I don't know if it'll tell. It won't tell you on here, but I've still kept the difficulty on 108. Didn't change it, so that's just me and my love for Singapore. Hamilton finished in second. He finished 3.8 behind. Like I said, he was trying to go for a fast lap. Didn't work out. Vettel in third. Bottas in fourth. Perez in fifth, ahead of Verstappen and then Leclerc. Ricciardo in seventh. Sainz 8th. Ricciardo 8th. Sainz 9th. Albon 10th. I don't know why I got mixed up then. And of course, there is the rest of the table for you guys to see. Looking at the Drivers' Championship now, and we do indeed take the lead of the championship by a single point over Valtteri Bottas and Lewis Hamilton, who is 2 points further back. But as I said, the entirety of my championship hunt comes down to Japan. Like I said, if I don't think I can score a point there because the AIs are just that stupidly fast. Meaning, I don't think I can win the title, really. I don't, it's a bit negative, but it's how I kind of feel about it. Constructors' Championship-wise, Mercedes, I think, have won. No, they haven't. They'll win it in Japan, though, quite convincingly. But we should get second, which is pretty sexy. But we're going to advance now, see if good old Claire has got anything she wants to ask me. Basically, she's going to go like, yo, babes, you did madness, innit? And I'll be like, yeah, kind of, you get me. And then she'll be like, yeah, bedroom. And I'll be like, nah. Speaking of the devil.
Really seem to enjoy that.
They did, apart from the fact they're all in quarantine, but despite all that.
You're surpassing all expectations.
I don't think so. Not with this team behind me. Could have sucked off the department, really. After all the teams updated their cars for next season regulations, where do you think it... Yeah, that one. Why would I tell them that we're going to be crap? That's just nothing. I didn't have any. I didn't crash. I don't know if you saw, but I won. And I was fine. You bender. Moving on. Swiftly. Save my game. Sure. Why not? Do what you want. Yes, look at Skip. We now take... Oh, I forgot to show the... We do take the lead of the rivalry against Charles Leclerc. It was 15-all, I think it was. And then I cocked that up. So, whoops-a-daisy. But we've got the team headquarters coming up now. Obviously, the 9th round is the Japanese Grand Prix. Now, we should be on about 1,500, 1,600 R&D points. Which means we'll be able to save all of the aero pieces. And then we can start working on the chassis. We should be able to save one chassis piece. Depending on how many weekly resource points come in then, we should be able to save another piece. But by my calculations, we should be absolutely fine to save all of our components. It's going to be down to what anyone else can save, really. Because, look, we got 2 sets of weekly resources. In fact, I'm just going to let those roll in. There's just no point in me floundering about. I might as well just get them both in. I'm not going to make any upgrades on my car. I don't expect to be making any. So, there we go. Resource point, boom. So, now, R&D-wise... When did that engine upgrade even come in? Did it even come in for the Singapore Grand Prix? I don't really remember. We've got 2,600 R&D points, so we'll start off by saving this. Yep. Save this one. And then save this one. Boom. And then we can go over here, and then we'll save... Do I do the big one first, or should I do the 2 minor ones? We'll do the big major one first, why not? So that means now that we need basically 1,500 R&D points. Once we've got 1,500 resource points... We are fine, and we can save all of those. We will be absolutely fine. So, guys, that is going to be it for today's episode of the F1 Project. I'm not going to do the Japanese Grand Prix in this episode, because I don't fancy it, because I just felt like this race deserves its own little thing, because we won, and it was great. But hopefully you guys enjoyed today's episode. If you have, feel free to drop it a like and subscribe if you're new around here as well. And next episode is going to be crunch time, because I have to do well at the Japanese Grand Prix, otherwise... Ripperoni and we'll have to do another season. But for now, guys, I am out. Take care all. Peace.